Hi friends, welcome back to Homestead on a Prayer. It's a beautiful day outside, and today we're going to be uppotting some tomato seedlings. And this is a task that I should have done probably about a week ago. I got half my tomatoes done about a week ago, and the other half are really overdue to get uppotted. So today we're going to get that done. I don't have a greenhouse, which is definitely something that is on my wish list. So for today, we're going to be out on my back deck and we're going to pot up a few tomatoes, and I'll just show you guys the varieties that I have. So I'm going to show you the way that to me is the easiest. So you can see here, this tomato plant, or this tomato pot has 4 little seedlings growing in this pot. I put them in there together partly because you never know what you're going to get for germination, and also I don't really have a lot of space, and so by starting them together in the same pot, it allows me to save a little bit of space. And then once I start moving some of my cooler weather crops, my broccoli and lettuce, kale, things like that outside, it frees up more space under my grow lights, and then my tomatoes can spread out a little more. So that is actually the primary reason why I didn't get all of these potted last week. I was only able to do about half of them. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. These here are a new variety that I'm excited about. This is Sun Gold Select. I've grown the original Sun Gold every year pretty much since I started gardening. That is my all-time favorite cherry tomato. But it is an F1 hybrid, and so if you save the seeds from it, there's no guarantee what kind of plant you're going to get. And so when I heard that breeders had developed a new open pollinated version of Sun Gold, I decided to try it. So that is what this one is, Sun Gold Select. I haven't ever grown this before. I've heard great things about it. So if any of you have grown this before, please leave me a comment and let me know your experience. So we're going to be trying this one, and I'm definitely going to try to save some seeds from this one. So the first thing I'm going to do, you'll see here that I have 2 types of pots. I have some little black pots and I have red solo cups. That is because I started more seeds than I really need. I start extra partly because in case some don't germinate, that way I'll make sure I still have enough. And then also that way I have extras to give away to friends and family. So this Sun Gold Select here, I'm planning to, I have 4 plants in here. I'm planning to keep 2 of them. So the 2 that I'm going to keep are going to go in my, my little black pots. And the ones that I'm going to give away are going to go into the red solo cups. That way my friends and family don't have to worry about returning pots to me or anything like that. So the very first thing that I am going to do is I am going to make labels for these, because I know that if I don't, I will end up forgetting. So I got these little plant tags. I'm gonna write with black Sharpie on one side and pencil on the other, because I've had some people tell me that I usually use black Sharpie, and I have had some people tell me that pencil lasts longer through the season. My black Sharpie usually fades by the end of the season. So I'm gonna try pencil on the other side, and we are going to see we're going to see how that works. So I'm going to make a couple tags here. So as I go through the varieties, a lot of these varieties that I have are, some of them are ones that I've grown before that I know I can count on. A lot of them are new to me. So I would love to hear any comments. If you have any experience with any of these varieties that I'm growing, just let me know down below so I know a little bit what to expect. Okay, so what I'm going to do with my red solo cups that are going to friends and family, I'm not going to use a plant marker. I'm just going to write directly on the cup what varieties these are so that they'll know what they're getting. And then that way I only have a limited number of markers, so that way I don't have to worry about running out. So the easiest way for me to transplant these, and now these are a little bit developed. You can see they are starting to get their second set of true leaves. Ideally, you'd want to, if they're in the same pot, you'd want to split them up before that. Really, I have some, let me see. See, these are a little bit smaller here. This is a much better size to do this because they don't have as big of a root system to transplant. But as I said, I just didn't have the space to do it ideally. So now I'm going to take this pot. I'm going to, just with my fingers, all this soil is pre-moistened, all the pots and red solo cups. It's a lot easier to work with if it's pre-moistened. And yeah, it's just easier for your tomato plant to sink its roots into soil that's wet. So you can see I made this impression in here pretty deep. I went pretty close to the bottom of the pot because tomato seedlings have a really special quality. If you look here at the stem, you can see all these little tiny hairs on the seedling. Basically, tomato plants in the wild will grow as a vine. They'll crawl around, they'll crawl along the ground and put down roots everywhere they touch the ground. So all of these little hairs on the stem have the ability to turn into new roots. So if you plant your tomato seedlings really deep, basically I'm going to plant them about up to here, about up to the set of the seedling leaves, and it will develop roots all on its stem, and that will give it a real head start. That'll give it a nice strong root system going in. So I'm going to show you guys what I do here. The easiest way that I find, and like I said, this is easier if you do this when the plant's a little bit smaller, but I'm just going to make sure the leaves are separated. I stick a fork down here between the seedlings, so you can see I'm sticking a fork in here, and basically just scoop it out. And so here I've got one seedling scooped out here. It's going to go down into the little impression that I made, and then I'm just going to really carefully just put the dirt back into place around it. And because I planted it deep, you can see it's buried almost up to its set of seedling leaves. Because I buried it nice and deep, it's going to be able to get a really good root system. So this one is done. This is our first Sun Gold Select. Now I still have the other 3 remaining in this pot. So I'm going to go ahead and make an impression in this next pot, nice and deep. And I'm going to scoop out my second seedling, so you can see. Stick the fork in there and out it comes. And then we'll just again, really carefully put the soil back into place. And now I have my red solo cups, which red solo cups really, they work about as well as pots. I like these little black pots because they come with these trays here. I don't know, I'm gonna hold this up so you can see it. See this tray? It has all these little spots for them. It keeps them in place, and because they're square, you can fit a lot of them really snugly into a small space, and it makes it a lot easier just to keep track of them, especially when you are short on space. So this one's gonna need a little extra dirt. So here we go. You can see all our Sun Gold Selects. These are the 2 that I'm going to be keeping for myself. Little plants there. They look nice and healthy. I still have, and here are the 2 that I'm going to be giving away. So I still have a little more than a month till my last frost date. So these are going to have plenty of chance to grow quite a bit before then. My last frost date, if you look it up online, you can Google based on your zip code. So the internet says that my last frost date is typically May 10th. I find that often it's a little bit later than that. So I usually in my mind consider my last frost date to be about May 15th. But even when May 15th comes, I still don't automatically plant. I will look ahead at the 10-day forecast, and if I see any days that are below 40, I won't put out tomatoes yet. Ideally, I like to wait until nights are pretty consistently above 45. Tomatoes are a little tougher than, say, peppers, but they still don't like it to be really cold. So, so yeah, you can just, if you're trying to find out your last frost date, just put in your zip code or your city or the nearest city to you. Just do a search, and then when that date comes, don't just automatically plant that date. Check your weather, make sure. So we can go ahead and get started on some other varieties that I have here. So I have this one here. Now this is an example of why I always plant extra seeds. This is the black cherry tomato. As you can see, I have 2 little plants there and then 1 little seedling that isn't really doing very well. So I was hoping to have 2 black cherry plants for myself, and these seeds were a couple years old, so the germination's a little bit lower. I planted 5 seeds in here, and so I was hoping if all 5 germinated, I would keep 2 for myself and give 3 away. But basically, there's 3 that germinated, but one of them really doesn't look very good, so I'm not gonna give that to anyone. I'm gonna take these 2 plants, and now I don't have any extra of that one. But if I had only planted, say if I was planning to have 2 plants myself and I only planted 2 seeds, then who knows? I may have gotten none, I may have gotten one. Maybe I would have gotten lucky and gotten two, but you don't know. So I always plant extra seeds. But then separating them out, basically any seedling that looks healthy. Tomatoes are very, very forgiving of this process. They're pretty tough, really, and they can put up with a lot. So basically this just allows me to make sure that I get all of the plants that I need, and if we get lucky, then we get some extra to give away too. So I'm going to make a couple black cherry tags, and these will just be for myself because I don't have any extra of this variety. Now black cherry, that is one that I have grown many years, and it consistently does well for me. This is my son's favorite cherry tomato, so we always have to have this one. And so I was really glad that I got at least 2 plants, and now I know that I either need to save seeds from these plants or else I need to go ahead and buy more next year to make sure that we have them next year. So here comes my little black cherry, and right in here put the tag. Now I have one left in this pot. I'm going to go ahead and pull out this tiny little seedling that isn't very healthy, and I'm not going to move this other guy. I'm going to leave this one in the same pot that it was growing in. We're just going to go ahead and put that there. I might add a little bit extra soil on top just so it gets the benefit of the deep planting that the other ones did. So I actually need to make dinner for my family pretty soon. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys a quick rundown of all of the varieties that I have here. And then I'm going to go ahead and end this video and just transplant the rest of these really fast. So the ones that I have to transplant today, I have this tomato, Horizon, which I had actually never heard of this tomato before. I was not familiar with this. I got this as a free sample from a company that I ordered from. And so, you know, whenever you get free seeds, it's good to try them out and see what you get, because you never know, you might find a really interesting variety that way. So I planted a couple of those, and I'm probably going to grow one of these plants myself and give one away. So we'll see how that does. I have some Matt's Wild Cherries here. You can see I have 4 little plants here. So I will probably end up keeping maybe 2 of these and giving 2 of them away. And this is a sweet little cherry tomato. They make tiny little red cherries. And everyone in my family loves them. They produce really early. They produce all season long. This one is usually one of my few tomatoes that actually produces all the way up till frost. So that one will be in my garden every year. This one's a new one to me. This is called Climbing Triple Crop. You can see these are definitely ones that I should have transplanted sooner because they're getting pretty tall and pretty large. So this is a new one to me. I have not tried it before, but I have heard great things about it. And so if you've tried that one, definitely let me know. This one has a German name, and I don't speak German, so I am probably not going to pronounce this correctly. It's Riesentraub. That's how it looks to me. So anyway, these little guys, they look nice and healthy. So I'm going to try one of those. That's a new open pollinated tomato variety, which basically that means that you can save the seeds, and as long as you prevent that plant from cross-pollinating with anything else, the seeds will be the same as the parent plant, and you can plant those seeds and get the same plant again next year. I'll probably do some videos later on in the season once we have actual tomatoes growing in the garden. I'll do some videos about seed saving, and we can just kind of try that out and see how it goes. This is another cherry tomato variety. This one is called Black Opal. This one, I believe, was developed from the black cherry tomato, and so I decided we'd try this one and see, kind of compare it to black cherry and see how it does. I think they're supposed to be a little bit smaller, but again, I haven't grown this one, so if you have any experience with that variety, definitely let me know. This one is a large tomato. There's a lot of disagreement about how to pronounce this name. I do not know how to pronounce it, so I have heard Dr. Weish's, I've heard Dr. Wishy's, I've heard a lot of things. So I call it Dr. Weish's. That is what I think the name is supposed to be, but I do not know for sure. So I've got these guys here. You can see I have, this one germinated early, and I didn't have a lot of germination, so I went ahead and planted some other seeds in there later. So that's why I have a couple little ones. So I'm going to keep 2 of these for myself, and then I'm going to give some to friends and family. And those are all the ones that These are all the varieties that I still have to up pot. I have a few that I have already done. We have Castelluto Genovese here, and this is, I grew this one last year for the first time, and I really liked it. These are nice, good sized red tomatoes. It produced a lot of tomatoes for me, and they're really pretty because they're fluted. So if you slice it open, it almost looks like a flower. So that's really pretty, and I really enjoy it. So I'm gonna grow that one again this year. Here's another new one that I'm trying for the first time, which is Abe Lincoln. This is supposed to be a large red slicer tomato. I've heard great things about it, but again, I have no experience with that one. I have here Plum Regal. This is a plum sauce tomato, and I like it. It's not my favorite flavor, but it's a good flavor. It's better than what you get at the grocery store. The reason that I'm growing that one again is because the past 2 years, it has produced longer than my other tomato plants. It produces a little bit later in the season. And so when my other tomato plants are kind of winding down, I still get tomatoes from that one. And so I'm only growing one plant of that this year, but I decided to keep growing it for that reason. Let's see, I've got Sun Gold here, which we talked about the Sun Gold Select before. So this is the original hybrid version of that tomato, which that is my favorite cherry tomato, and I will grow that every year. Let's see, what else? Another Sun Gold. Got, let's see, oh, Black Beauty. I'm excited about this one. This is one I have not tried before, but if you haven't seen pictures of this tomato, definitely do an internet search and see what it looks like. It looks so beautiful. I'm excited to grow that one. It gets really dark, almost black skin, and then on the inside it's bright red. And I've heard from people that it has an amazing flavor, so I'm excited to try that one. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, Black Strawberry. This is another one I'm really excited about. I have not grown this tomato before. I actually had not even heard of this tomato until this year. It was one of the feature tomatoes in the Baker Creek Company seed catalog. And it looked beautiful, and their description just sounded so interesting that I decided to try that one. So that's another cherry tomato. This one here is my all-time favorite large tomato. This is Cherokee Purple, and I will always grow those. They produce well for me. They are an heirloom, but they've been a lot more disease resistant than a lot of my other heirlooms, and the flavor is just amazing. And so I'm probably going to grow about 3 plants of those. And let's see what else we have. I think everything else. Oh, here we go. White Tomasol. This one's a really interesting tomato. I got this one last year as a free seed packet in one of my orders, and I had never even heard of it. But of course, like I said, you get free seeds, you try them out. I tried it. I thought it was pretty good, but my daughter really loved it, and so I am growing one of those for her this year. And I think that might be all of my varieties. So if you know anything about any of these varieties that I've mentioned, especially the ones that I haven't grown before, please comment below and let me know. Let me know what to expect. And I'm going to go ahead and pot up the rest of these varieties, and I'll definitely check back with you later in the season. We'll go through my garden and take a look at plants as they grow, and I can give you an update on my opinion about about a lot of these varieties. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I appreciate you taking time to spend time with me, and I hope that you grow lots of tomatoes, and I hope that this video is helpful with potting your tomatoes. We'll definitely be doing more videos soon. I plan to do a video about hardening off plants. I'll probably do that when my tomatoes are about ready to harden off, so it'll be in a couple weeks, probably early May. Yeah, so definitely I would love to see you again. Thank you so much for spending time with me.